All right, pillar number 6, which is cultivating a dynamic, organic online presence for whatever business it may be. Now, in this instance here, I'm going to use home improvement as the example. However, when you apply this across the board, when it comes to social media presence, when it comes to building a trust and credible business online, these fundamental steps here is imperative. So let me just start off with organic online presence. While people think that ads are the way forward, and in order for you to, let's just say, put an ad out there, whilst it's all good and well to get in front of the people who are ready to buy or ready to utilize your services, the thing is that they're not just going to look at that ad and then continue, onto whatever you want them to do. They will always go out there and do their research. They might even do it before. As soon as they've gone through the ad, they've seen it, but without even stepping into the next stage or into the landing page or into your website or wherever you may take them, they will go back to your social media or click on the icon to take you to your landing page, to your Instagram page, the profile, or take you to Facebook. And they'll also do a lot more of their due diligence before even considering working alongside you or utilizing your services. So if you're able to set yourself up for success, and it doesn't take long at all, once you have the right systems in place, the first bit is setting it up essentially to showcase the work that you do, the good that you have, or potentially why you solve certain problems. But we can dive into a little bit more of the nuance on storytelling and how that's so effective and building the gap between where they are and where they want to get to, and you being a bridge. In this instance here, most people aren't getting just the basics right. So if we go through this here, again, using home improvement as an example, the importance of it is looking at increasing visibility. So more often than not, if you are in front of your ideal demographic or your ideal audience frequently and consistently, not only does the platform reward you, because if you put out engaging posts organically on a regular basis, the community starts to familiarize themselves and continue to engage into it. Again, the algorithm, the platforms, they don't miss. So if they notice that something is happening organically, they'll then push it out further. But there are means and ways of doing it properly without having to look spammy or without having to put off your audience. Next is building trust. Now, you can build trust through just generally posting educational content, which, by the way, it's one of the strategies, and it's good because you can educate and give value on the front end, but also leveraging customer testimonials. Now, that's something that I wish I'd done a lot faster and a lot sooner. As I was building my business, I thought I could just carry on with perhaps even just the services that we were probably about 12 or 18 months ahead of the market here in Australia with the services, but I just didn't take. I guess I had to grow individually, and I had to grow internally to really own the work that we're doing, the phenomenal work. So getting customer testimonials alongside utilizing educational content really hones in, hey, these guys know exactly what they're doing. They are the experts and they are the authority in this space, and it just cements it. If they're getting a third party to validate the services and speak their praises, it just makes life so much easier for them to move on to the next step. They feel safe to go, okay, you know what? I'm actually going to go through and see what the next step is with this bathroom renovation company or with this deck and pergola or whatever business you may have. Marry that up with educational content, marry it up with customer testimonials. And one thing I haven't put in here, but one thing that is also often missed, is adding your flavor. There's something I've been very big on right from the word go, is you've got company A and you've got company B. Provide both the same services, provide exactly the same solutions to the problems. What is it that's going to differentiate yourself from company A, if you are company B? And that's most often than not how you deal with customers, what your values, what your internal systems are when it comes to providing quality, phenomenal service. You take care of the customer, you take care of every single touch point. They see that you give a shit about them. You'll find yourself in more opportunities than not where you've been able to do the deal because they trust the individual. And that goes a hell of a long way, at least here in Australia as well. Very, very big on reputation. So how do we develop a strategy for the social media space? Now, we need to identify the audience. Where are they located mostly? Now, I gave an example a couple of videos ago where we spoke about most businesses reside in LinkedIn. However, there are strategies and there are ways to leverage the likes of Facebook, the likes of YouTube, the likes of Instagram to get in front of, again, that demographic, but with a different angle and a different messaging. So identifying where they are, in this instance here, when it comes to social media organic growth and organic content, identify and hit that platform. So if you are business orientated, very heavily doing B2B services or have a B2B relationship or product, then most often than not, they'll be on LinkedIn. But don't just narrow in specifically on LinkedIn. You can have like a you can have maybe a 80-20 split, or you can have a 70-30 split. But what I'd like to sort of give out is, don't just be fixated on that one vertical. Also know that they'll be residing elsewhere. So think about that. Again, when you're looking at the audience, identify what are their interests and how are they behaving online. So as a business owner, you'd say that if they are heavily on a platform, LinkedIn would be it, but that would be throughout, let's just say, maybe business hours, 9 to 5, maybe a bit earlier, 7 till 6. But also, they do have social media. They do leverage and they do use, maybe even if it's for personal reasons only, like Facebook and Instagram. But if you're able to get in front of them as well and showcase some of the content that you can provide on those other platforms, you create what's called omnipresence. They go, while they open up one platform, they see you there, they open up another platform. Again, these platforms don't miss, so they understand exactly the demographic. If you can get your messaging right, if you can get your offer out there right, or at least the content, you'll start to build a lot of trust and rapport very quickly. Now, I've gone through choosing the right platform. We then look at how do we plan out the content. Now, a lot of our clients seem to struggle. What is that first step? How do we start with content creation? Now, the key thing here is identifying exactly what the problems are and exactly what your audience is looking for. When you start to hone in on the exact messaging on how you could potentially either solve the problem or educate people to move to the next step of whatever that solution to the problem may be, that way people are going to be enticed. People are going to go through and say, you know what, that actually resonates with me. I'm going to either flag this profile, I'm going to continue looking into it. And again, if they are staying consistently on on your post, and if the algorithms of the platform can identify that, they're going to showcase more of that content in front of your audience. So if you get content creation right, it becomes a very, very fruitful process for the business. Now, whilst also looking at home improvements as the example, just something as simple as using your iPhone here and literally just going, you know what? I'm just going to get some before images. I'm going to get some before videos and speak about the project. Then during it, I'm going to go, well, hang on, this is what's happened here. The customer wanted this. We've been able to deliver that. However, they wanted to have some other, let's just say a vanity sink situated here. But because we found out there were certain things that were not identified just simply because you had to dig up the flooring, as an example, then they had to pivot and make slight adjustments on the go. And just even giving that bit of insight to your audience would help phenomenally, especially if they're looking for their own bathroom renovation and they're conscious that, hey, I need to look out for this situation here because we may also have to look at certain options that we didn't consider. And obviously at the back end of it, once the project's completed, the after photos, the after videos, and showcasing how you went from point A, which looked outdated, looked tired, just looked grungy, bathroom that is, to something that's modern, fresh, and just really, I guess you get excited when you when you go for your morning relieves. Anyway, it showcases like the journey of the project. And again, if you actually are encompassing, I guess, the fundamentals of literally just posting genuine content, authentic content, people are going to resonate with that. And then if you do tie that up with a customer testimonial on the back end of the project, that individual, let's just say that was looking for a bathroom renovator, but just they haven't committed yet. If they see the customer fully happy in not only the works but also the projects around how they were treated during the project, then that then entices someone to go, you know what, I'm going to go and engage with Wes, or I'm going to engage with Ray, or whoever it may be. But because you've been able to build that trust and take them on a journey, that's how customers tend to come organically, and as well with having to spend any money on ads. I touched on this earlier as well, educational content. I even gave the example about having to educate people on the fly and on the go during the projects. And then last but not least, again, these platforms don't miss. They really understand how the, I guess, human psychology works. And if you're able to create an engaging post, they're just going to, they're going to give you what you deserve. So if it's engaging, it's going to keep that individual on their platform. And more importantly, it's going to get them consuming and also engaging with your content. That's a win-win for anyone that uses online social media. Let's have a look at some of the best practices. So consistency is key. When you hear Gary Vee, or when you hear a lot of the big players out there who are just preaching, just stay consistent, get your content out there, they are the proof. Yes, they've got probably an army of media or content creators out there developing and editing their work. It still applies to the average everyday person. So if you're posting once a day, if you're posting once every couple of days, or even on YouTube, if you're posting once a week, but the content is of quality and it's probably a little bit longer than usual, then you're really going to get your audience engaged. You're going to get community bought in to what you're doing, and they'll always consistently follow up. So yeah, probably the biggest lesson from this video here is staying consistent and learning as you go. So the first post you do will never be as good as the most recent post, but what you'll do is you'll learn a lot along the way, and you'll see what resonates with the market, and you'll be able to pivot and move quite quickly as well. Stick with the fundamentals, but also move as you continue to build. Authenticity. This is huge. Now, making sure that the content that you have is authentic to who you are. Make sure it's congruent. I see a lot of times that the posts that business owners are thinking, it needs to be flash, it needs to be done with a Canon $4,000 camera, or it needs to be done by a professional photographer. Not at all. As I said, these phones these days are so phenomenally strong. It rivals the high quality cameras. If anything, it's probably a lot more efficient and a lot easier for you to create content than ever before. Because these phones are so powerful and the camera is so good on it, you're really able to capture the authenticity and how it is literally real time on the project. So again, the first post is going to feel cringe. The first video, the first content that you create is going to be something that you probably won't. You look back and go, wow. I mean, I look at the videos I created 6, 7, 8 years ago on YouTube, and I cringe, but I'm also very thankful that I did that, because that there's a running dialogue, there's a story, and there's progress. You'll see just how things evolve. And while it is hard to initially make that first step, once you start to get into the momentum and the rhythm of actually creating content, it gets so much easier. And I always encourage people to just be themselves and add their flavor to it. Authenticity. Visual appeal, as I said, while it's all good and well to have the everyday content, there is also a need for the professional videos and images. And that's usually once the project's done. You don't want a high quality video midway through it when you've got dust everywhere, the project and the workspace is messy. While there is strategies when it comes to home renovation to have sort of a professional before, during and after, it isn't for the individual who's starting up. All we want to do is make things simple. We want to make it as easy and with less friction for you to get out there and do stuff. And then lastly, we have the interaction. Now, when you've got the audience responding and commenting on your content, then it is, again, the platforms don't miss. They know exactly what works and what doesn't. And if you can get your content well created, it's a game changer for you. Now I'm going to go through the example of, again, home renovation. This is just things that you can go out and do, but also these aren't just specific to home renovation. You can apply your spin to it. So as an example, let's just use the first bit. The client wanted a bathroom renovation set up like this. Now, you can have a video where you're either interviewing the clients, or better yet, you can also speak to them once you've been able to understand what they want. And then you can educate further. The reasons why we use this vanity sink in this situation, the reason why we have the skylight situated here, as opposed to situated over there where the client wanted it initially. Now, there's a lot of things that you can educate and further give to your audience, but most often than not, people just want to see some real, tangible, no BS content that resonates with them. Also, you can do that either having yourself on the camera, so you can have it in selfie mode, or you can actually just have that focus on the project and you voiceovering it. Those are some of the quick and easy wins of creating content. If you're familiar with memes, and if you're someone who's a millennial, who's my age, or if you're younger, memes are everywhere. If you're able to encapsulate humor behind what you're creating and building, and again, if that's part of your personality, and if that's the flavor that you have, by all means, find a way on how to leverage that using your content or during the content creation process. And then last but not least, you've got the before and after, and the process in between. Having just the journey where someone can follow and watch what it used to look like to where it is now. It's such a rewarding thing, because people would like to possibly envision what it could be like for them. So again, if you understand the market that you have, it could even be, let's just say, a barber. Like the barber had their hair that was scruffy, just didn't look good at all. And then you can see the complete change of that individual. The barbers out there and the hair salons do a phenomenal job in improving I guess just people's confidence and their self-esteem that are, just even watching, whether it be a 20-second video, understanding where they were, the process and after, it's something really cool to watch. So again, it doesn't have to be home improvements. It doesn't have to be home renovations, bathroom renovations. It could be whatever you're offering to the market. And then last but not least, we have the integration with other marketing efforts. So as I said beforehand, it's all good and well to use that one platform, but just know that your individual, your customer could be also on other platforms. As I spoke as well about ads, like it's all good and well to have content consistently coming out, but what is that offer and what is that message? What is that direct sales pitch that you're going to do to get them through the door? Now, what I mean through the door is to the next step. Those ads, when done properly, when you've got the messaging and the offer right, can be so fruitful to the business that, as an example, our clients are paying $30 a day to stay not only in front of their customers in front of their potential customers, but they're also closing and converting. So if you're able to say, spend $30 a day, that lead comes in. So again, $30 to get onto a booked call. And let's just say every second call that you have, you close a $30,000 deal. Then you can see how fruitful advertising is and actually leveraging the online space, especially within your niche. Also, as an example, our clients who are, they're, in my opinion, the best barbers in Australia. I could be a little bit biased, but these guys here, they've got I think on average, their average service is I think about $60, and they're making a 3x on their ad spend. So for every booked appointment that they have or every sale that they get, they are spending $20. So if you're spending $20 to acquire a $60 purchase, that there is phenomenal. And also you've got to look at the lifetime value as well, because the ways these boys really look after their customers, they give them such an awesome experience that upon finishing their haircut and their beard trim, they're also following up as well. When would you like to come back in again? Let's just get you back in. So the lifetime value of a customer isn't $60. It's, I think with these guys on average, 10 times that they come in off the back of it. So again, that's $600 off the back of spending $20 approximately. But you know what I mean? If you can scale that then, and the cost per acquisition stays at around $20, $25 for a $60 product with a recurring revenue of, let's just be conservative, maybe 5 times. Again, that's just a phenomenal way of making cash, leveraging the online space. Now, we also need to understand, okay, if we are going to look at the analytics of it, let's look at it properly. How can we use tools that can go, well, hang on, this video here or this content created on this date seemed to have hit. What was the reason why it hit? How were people interacting? Can we see if anyone came from that piece of content to that next step when they booked in? So if you have the right tools in place and the right system behind the content that you're creating, you can really dial down exactly what works and then scale from there. And obviously review. Review with the team, review with people outside of your industry, and just get feedback. What works, what doesn't work. Let them provide feedback on what they think could potentially take that piece of content to the next level, or giving a third eye perspective, or just giving it an alternate perspective on what you're doing. And again, look at the tools. There's tools like Hootsuite and Buffer and High Level that allow you to schedule out content. So you can be a lot more effective with your time. But then also, if you are interested, or let's just say you understand that this is where you need to be at, then staying up to date with some of the latest trends could be just on YouTube, could be a newsfeed aggregator that you tend to pull every now and again to your email. Just stay abreast of what's happening, because as I said, the online space moves very quickly, and if you can capitalize on it, game over. You will do phenomenally well. So again, just to bring this back, social media content from an organic perspective, and when posting, the key thing here, consistency. Stay consistent, because you get better. As you continue practicing and getting better, your content starts to resonate a lot better. You start to find yourself in certain situations where you didn't realize that was the way forward, because that's how the market has responded to the content, and then you double down on it. Not only that, you look at how can you apply your flavor to the content, and again, making it as authentic as possible. And last but not least, don't overcomplicate it. You've got the right tools. If you've got a mobile phone on you, just leverage that, use that until maybe you've got the resources, you've got the team, and you've got the projects that are pushing out consistently that you can maybe invest in something a little bit more professional. But for now, keep it simple, stay consistent, authentic, and you'll do very well.